Thank you for tuning in to Ungentrified with Kent Johnson. Ungentrified takes an unfiltered view on pop culture, music, television and film, politics, current events, and topics central to the worldwide Black community. Ungentrified is a safe audio space for celebrating Black culture in its purest form. Thank you for joining another episode, a very special episode of Ungentrified. Of course, I have B with me.
Hello.
And we're talking about episode 4 of Insecure, which was Fresh-like. And, wow, it was a good episode. I don't know what your initial take on it was, but I thought it was a good episode. What about you?
I thought it was a really good episode. I told you I had to watch it a couple times just because I felt like so much happened in that episode that I wanted to make sure that I saw everything and was able to kind of like process everything because it was a pretty packed episode.
Yes. And I think the idea of freshness ran throughout it, but let's go ahead and get into it. So first things first, the mirror rhymes are back.
I said the same thing. I was like, mirror bitch is back.
Yes. So now, I mean, I think that just kind of set the tone that she's in a place of comfort again. Like she's on her own, got her own thing going. But with that, it seems like it might be Dunzo for Daniel. Like,
oh, I know. She didn't even invite him in.
Right.
She was like, give me my box at the door.
Right. And I think that was like her last kind of bit of dirtiness towards Daniel. Because let's admit it, she's been dirty against Daniel. Rather, she basically used him as a stepping stone to get to her spot now, and didn't even have the nicety to be like, hey, you know, thanks a lot. I mean, she gave the phony, hey, thanks, kind of thanks. But
hey, she took him out for that marina dinner too.
Yeah, but she
and
left
gave
him
him a
on
taste. Sorry. Okay.
I guess that is a gift, right? It's a nice parting gift.
A sample too, because it wasn't the whole taste, it was like a little sample.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes.
She gave him a Costco sample worth of the goodies, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then even Molly kind of had a nasty attitude with him. Like, I don't know why she had an
Daniel.
attitude. Right. So, yeah, that led me to believe that Daniel's storyline is now done.
Over.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing. That, I mean, on top of not letting him into her space, the fact that Molly was like, that bye from Molly seems so final that, yeah, I don't know that we will be seeing him again.
Yeah.
At least, unless it's like a run-in or something, but I think their maybe relationship is definitely a non.
Right. Yeah. Maybe we'll hear his song at the club towards the end of the episode. I don't know. Maybe we'll hear the Philharmonic remix to the Spider song. I don't know. But yeah, I think he's done for at least this season.
Oh, yeah.
The other thing that had me laughing was the Zane
Trina.
Sex Chronicle. Oh, Trina, yeah.
Oh my God. Me too. I was like going back some years, you know, and thinking about, I was like, you can't let go of Zane Sex Chronicles. That was some good single girl entertainment.
Right. Look, not even single girl. I think everybody was reading that in undergrad. I was like, look, raise your hand if you read 1 or part 2 of the Sex Chronicles or any Zane book.
I did. And then I saw, not to like deviate, but then they made it a TV show on like Showtime or something.
Yeah.
It was not the same.
It was not. And I cracked up and she was like, wait a minute, hold up. Tyler Perry might do something with this.
Me too. I was laughing about that too.
But no, the other thing, Trina, yes. We have finally met Trina, the crazy neighbor.
And I like Trina.
You like
She's funny.
Yeah, Trina's clearly going to be a fool we have to deal with at some point for the rest of the season.
I don't know. Trina seemed like she might be the type that don't pay her rent. She might not be around for a while. Send her son over there knocking on the door. I don't know if Trina gonna be around too much.
All right, but the meat of the episode was Nansford or Party Lift Nathan.
Yeah, I was glad to see him back too, actually.
Yeah, or as I saw referred to on Twitter this weekend, Felon Bay, because
he does kind of look like him.
And not only that, like he's broken the law every time we see it. So there's that part too.
Felonious acts, in the words of Issa. It's
yes.
felonious. But yeah, when I saw him come up, I was kind of excited. I even saw like one of my friends on Facebook was saying how he's single-handedly bringing light-skinned dudes back. I personally don't agree. I like them chocolate, but could be. Even though my husband is not chocolate, that's just my pleasure.
But speaking of light skin, did we know that Chad was a realtor? I feel like that was half mentioned before.
I didn't know that either. But they went in on him for a minute.
Right, with that Bluetooth. That old man in the club, Bluetooth in the ear.
It was.
Yeah.
That took me back too.
Right, that also took me back to undergrad. I don't know why I thought Bluetooth was the hottest thing back then, but I remember having mine on all of the time.
Like he was making business calls.
Right. Like I was really official with my raggedy Sprint phone and a Bluetooth.
It wasn't worse than our friend Chanel's Sprint phone.
Right.
That looked like a remote control.
It looked like a VCR, but
attached to her hip. That's a digression.
Yeah, this episode was hella LA. Like
it was. I wish that I was from LA. Like looking at this, it made me like it was kind of like a symphony, like an ode to LA. I thought it was really cool. And it kept making me think of like those movies, which I totally love, that all take place in one day. Like to me, it felt like more of an episode, like it was meatier just because I like related it to that kind of a movie where, like even if it's like a comedy like Superbad or like Adventures in Babysitting, like something that happens like in one day and you go all over the city, like to me is like I love those kinds of movies.
Yeah.
Usually it's a horror movie because but the fun ones I like that. And I was like, oh, she loved LA, like that's really cool.
Yeah, well, not she, but Nansford brought up something that I say all of the time when I try to kind of give the degrees of hoodness, that Cali hoods are not hood by any means. Like
no, I still remember when I moved to Baltimore and people said if someone tells you to go down the hill, don't go down the hill. And I never wanted to know what that meant. I never went. Gay Street, you on Gay Street? That's the yeah. I never wanted to know what a real hood was.
Yeah, Cali hoods have like unattached homes. Maybe not green grass in the lawn, but they have nice lawns. Like it ain't hood by like Cabrini Green standards or the projects in Baltimore standards. It's not that by any means. So I was glad that he brought that up in the episode. But
yeah, I did like that though, that he kept kind of like relating where he's from to being there. And they talked a lot about the stereotypes that we get, in California, like not wanting to walk, it's a true stereotype. Like everything is so spread out. It's like in my neighborhood where I live now, I do walk to a lot of stuff, but like most of my life, I lived in like more suburban type areas, and you don't walk anywhere. Like that's dumb.
Yeah, I rarely remember walking places. Well, so when we were in high school, I'm really aging ourselves, but when we were in high school and I lived in the Point Loma area, I did have like that major shopping center around the corner, and I had 2 jobs in there. But that was the only thing that I remember walking to because that was so many things nearby.
In one area.
Yeah. But nowhere else where we lived in San Diego had things.
No, because that was the only even thing over there. Like if you if you lived like where we went to high school, like that was a trek to somewhere, unless you were going to, what was it called? Like PDQs,
Hmm.
or if you was going to Cotillas. Those are like the only things that were in walking distance to even like our high school. You had to have a car,
Yeah, you absolutely
which I'm
did.
glad that you did. You and Kristen. So
You
you
bringing
could be
up
my chauffeur.
right? Yeah, that's old history. But
It is. But I did tell someone recently that you worked at that Carl's Jr.
yeah, so
Just throwing that out there.
I too am hella Cali. I used to work at Carl's Jr. back in the day because In and Out, which is in some trouble now, I read,
I heard too.
didn't want to hire your boy, so I went and worked at Carl's Jr. But I only
Yeah.
stayed there for like a year because they wouldn't let me grow my beard out because I had a beard in high school. But
Like a grown man.
yeah. But no, all right. So I had a theory about this episode.
Okay.
That well, I mean, of course, fresh like is a thing, but there were a lot of things that went on in this episode that kind of signify renewal. First thing we'll go to is Issa in the pool. So Nathan convinced her to take her to where she actually lived, which gives the idea of like going home, because she really was going home. She was going to where she was raised in, and they
To her mansion.
right to her mansion at the top of the
were her
hill.
parents like presidents or something? Like, how did they have that house? I don't care what year it was.
Right. Knowing how much real estate is in Cali, her parents had to be making a good little coin.
Yeah.
To be able to afford that estate.
That was an estate.
It was an estate.
And they walked past a lot of like regular houses before they got to that McMansion.
Right.
I was like, oh, maybe it's not that one. Okay, how about, oh, no, not that one. And then they walked up to that one. I was like, is that her dream house? No, it was like a Barbie dream house for real.
I think it had columns. Like columns are indication that you got money. But it definitely had a pool.
And that's more money, but yes.
Yes. So they hop the gate, go to the back into the pool, which continues their game of truth or dare that they've been playing on this date. And they hop in the pool, and they hop in the pool naked. So to me, that signified kind of like a baptism almost. You know, she's going home, or what signifies or is a symbol of home for her, and kind of washing away and having these really truthful moments with Nansford.
Stop calling him that. Nathan.
Yes.
No, I mean, I could see that point too. I definitely see how she was like way more open with this guy. And I don't know, maybe it's because he was such a stranger, because she did bring up the fact that he was a stranger a few times. Like, I don't know if that helped her be more her true, authentic self versus like having to put on airs for people that she already had relationships with, or that she was trying to prove things to, to them, or whatever the past relationships were. I did see that she was, way more honest with Nathan, with, how she was talking about, being a rapper in the pool with him, or how honest she was with, talking about Lawrence and how she cheated on him and he didn't deserve that. Like, she really opened up to this guy, which was really, to me, it was pretty surprising.
Yeah, you brought up a good point about her being honest about Lawrence. It was kind of like a confessional. That's why I was like, all right, I'm going back to my theory about, she confessed. She was very honest about her cheating on Lawrence. And then they go to the pool, which is at a home for her. She goes in naked, expresses herself. And like you said, she was just very open. And I think that sometimes that happens. You meet somebody, and by the end of that conversation or meeting, you done told some things that you hadn't told other people. So sometimes it happens. I think we've all had encounters like that. But yeah, I even going back to her early conversation with Molly in the episode about, getting rid of things, old stuff, like the CDs that Lawrence had made for her, and, things that she had been holding onto that really had no value in the space that she was trying to create for herself. So, Yeah,
I definitely think she moved full circle in the episode. Like I saw the beginning and the end, you know, like how they came full circle where she was at work, looking around at all the white people at her job, and then she left to start on this adventure with Nathan. And then at the end, she's back in her office looking around at everybody, and you know, that's when she makes her next decisions. But you know, that morning she threw out all the old stuff that Molly had been telling her to throw out that she was trying to hold on to. And I think those moments with Nathan helped her to push forward, right? Like she was on the edge. She was kind of like one foot in, one foot out. She has a new job and a new kind of job, but a new apartment, but she's still holding on to these old things. And, you know, from him coming from Houston saying like, I left everything. I had to just, you know, I just had to start fresh. And even though it's scary and it's hard, that's what you got to do to, you know, you can't settle for easy stuff. Even when he was talking about like the barber shop, she was like, you know, you call yourself a barber, you need to get up in this barber shop. And he was like, you know, nah, like I don't want to be stuck there either. Like he can clearly see that doing something that's familiar or comfortable, like that doesn't necessarily help you get to your next stop. And so I kept seeing like those moments through the episode with him that kind of like a little bit helped her push forward. Like something so small as having some some CDs that you made, like getting rid of that, starting fresh, all the way fresh, that can really help you get to where your next spot is. And that, you know, for her also included you know, leaving We Got Y'all. And I don't know if I was supposed to say that yet, but you know, all those little baby steps and then taking the big leaps into the new apartment, moving jobs, and even opening herself up to this new person that she doesn't have any, you know, former relationships with. I think this was her fresh, like, you know, her renewal into like whatever comes next. So I'm pretty proud of Issa. She's making some progress finally.
yeah, yeah. And Nathan, one of the lines that stuck out to me was when he told her, sometimes you got to go for it, even when it makes no sense to everybody else. Because
Mhm.
we know the moment she tells Molly, Kelly, and Tiffany about what she's done, they're going to have everything to say about why it's the wrong thing for her to be doing right now. But
And Molly definitely shouldn't be telling nobody nothing. She's the queen of, you know, telling people to do something that she's not even doing. Like she's moving on to a new job. She's done with, you know, the white law firm. She's on to the black law firm. And like Kelly said last week, you having problems with the black people, with the white people, you running out of ethnicities. Like like you can't keep saying like this is a problem for you, but the one thing that's a constant for her is that she's making the same mistakes over and over again. So even if it's a new environment, she's still bringing baggage and that negative attitude, like I was talking about before, into this new position. So, you know, you you can't be giving advice when you're not doing amazing yourself, you know, when you have no perfections on your side.
right, and I'm glad you transitioned to Molly. That was a great transition because she was cutting up this episode. We learned that she's still going to therapy, but not being honest in therapy.
Lying to the therapist,
Right,
yes.
because that woman had no idea of
About
Dro,
Dro.
which up until the Black Firm was all of the things that Molly needed therapy for.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right?
then Molly has kind of found what we thought it looked like she had kind of found her footing in the firm and made two friends with two of her female coworkers. And
Mm-hmm.
then she then got caught up in the Morehouse magic
Right?
of Torian. So, which it was like, all right, it's clear that Molly likes people who can't give her, who give her either frustration or attitude. Because,
Mm.
I mean, Dro gave her frustration. She's had frustration all throughout her relationships. And then here comes Torian with, you know, no modesty according to her coworkers.
Uh-huh.
And she turned on by it. She rocking her devil in a blue dress.
I did see that too.
Yeah.
But see, like that part I had to like that's one of the reasons why I wanted to watch it again because I was like, so like what kind of happened there? And like I see your point there that I don't know, maybe something something might be going on between those two. But I also took it, like, the second time I watched it, as Molly can't do what, like, say Issa's doing it the hard way to get what you really need out of it, right? So she's has a fresh start at this law firm, fresh group of people. She could be working with the two women that offered, like, she went back in there like, oh yeah, I can help you. Like, they could put her on the track that she needs to get on, versus, even though it's slower, or she could just jump on the Torian bandwagon, like, align herself with him, because clearly the boss likes him. He's outspoken. He gets stuff done. So I feel like she wants the quick way. It doesn't matter if it's not necessarily the right way. And I don't even know that she doesn't see that that's not the right way. I think she sees that as, that's the fast way to get where I think I should be. Like, she's still in therapy talking about, like, this is the same thing she was talking about, when we saw her with the therapist last, is where she thinks she should be in life, right?
Mhm.
Before, I think it was like relationship focused, but this one's work focused. Like, I should be doing this. I should be head of this. I should be doing this. And it's really like, you have to pay your dues. You have to work your way up. And going to a new law firm doesn't mean I'm coming in, mid-level. You still have to, like, pay your dues because you're new. They don't even know you. And
Right.
you make it enemies, honestly,
Right.
like, from jump. So I feel like, like I was saying, she's still making the same mistakes. And I think she's only aligning herself with Torian because she thinks, like, he's at the top and that's the quickest way for me to get to the top. Now, I don't know if she's going to sleep her way there, but I didn't think of it that way. But she was rocking that dress, though.
The dress looked good. I I hope you're right, because what I took from it was that Molly thinks that she's not doing wrong in, like, her love life. So she only expresses to the therapist the things that she feels like she's doing wrong or she needs help with. So she thinks that she got this love thing just down pat. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why she's not mentioning Dro or making these same mistakes and not being cognizant of them. I think she understands that part and she don't need no help there. And that's why when I saw her in that blue dress, I was like, man, this could be a problem. Especially, like, don't lose on the homegirls you just made in the office.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a better way to do it, you know?
Because Morehouse might drop you in a hot second. He looked like he out for self and will throw you under the bus quick.
Right. And then you really don't want to be the girl who lost her way. Like, you don't want to be
Mm-hmm.
that girl not even a month into your new gig.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, now that you put that kind of, like, that seed in my mind, I don't know if that's what she's after. Because it seemed like the girls kind of peep something too. Like, that's the route you going. Like, I don't know. Maybe they're thinking that she's trying to sleep her way to the top too. So I don't know. Like, now that you planted that in my mind, that's what I'm gonna be thinking about. I was just thinking, like, she was like, "Yo, he's got the right hand to this dude, to the boss man. Let me work on stuff with him because that's gonna get the most visibility. That's like a political move, like, in the company.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll
Well,
see."
yes, we will definitely see. So, did you watch the previews for next week?
I did. I watched them. I did because I'm excited. I saw my girl Kelly on there.
Right, and the title of next week's episode is High Like, and
And Kelly's high.
and Kelly's high. Who knows who else might be high? But they're definitely
Hmm.
going to Coachella where everybody's high.
Hmm. Have you ever been to Coachella, Kent?
I have not.
Me
I've been
neither.
to a couple of different music festivals, but I have not been to Coachella. I don't know if I'm in the window of Coachella anymore. Like,
I have friends older than you that still go to Coachella.
okay, I'm gonna have to talk to
They're
them.
girls. I don't know if that makes a difference. I've not ever gone.
My homeboy went this year, and they did, like, the tent situation. And he was like, I can't believe I was up in a tent for 2 days.
Well,
I
he
would
should
have
have
paid
got
for
a
the
house.
hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My friends get they get houses. They just rent the house and drive over there. Kind of like what it looks like Issa and them are doing. I don't think I would be up in nobody's tent. I am too old for that. I don't think I ever was young enough for that, actually. But yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. But I think my predictions from episode 3 are going to come to a head where clearly Tiffany can't get high. So,
Right.
like, she doesn't even have the choice. And just knowing who Tiffany is and how she presents herself, she won't give them the ability to say that she did anything while she was carrying her baby. Um,
Hmm.
so it's going to set a clear separation between them. But that's just my theory. I'm putting it out there. That's my prediction
I
for next
agree.
week.
She already even said in the commercial, they were like, "Cheers to Beyonce," or no, we're here to celebrate you, Tiffany. She was like, "And my baby," and they were like, "Nah, just you."
Right.
So we'll see. We'll see if like they off doing their own thing because we really only saw her a little bit of the time. Like once they got there, I don't think they showed too much of all of them even together.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But I think that'll be a fun episode, especially coming back from something like this, which was it kind of like was romantic and chock full of like stuff happening. I think it'll be nice to just like have fun, have a little party and have that be the next episode.
Yeah, I think this episode definitely was kind of the car starting up, and now we get to kind of see it rev off as we make our way towards the end of the season. Now we're at the the apex. We're hitting our top of the hill where
Hmm.
the Issa we encountered at the first episode is not the Issa at the end of the fourth episode. She's got her own place. She's got one less job. Uh,
So do you think she's gonna go to the other place though that she met at the conference? Do you think she's gonna reach out to them?
I don't know. I think she's gonna take a break.
I don't know if she has money to be
Yeah,
taking a break.
yeah. I don't either. Well, I mean, she still technically has two jobs left. Lyft and the part time gig. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I see her taking a brief break, and that might be Coachella, and then her coming back and figuring it out. But it may be another case of what Molly's going through, where the grass wasn't necessarily greener; it just looked green. But she might get there and find out that it isn't. Uh, who knows? But I feel like that may be coming in a later episode, like maybe 6 or 7.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think it is a good step for her because I think talking to Nathan, she was kind of like seeing, because he even brought it up, like music seems to be your passion. So, I think maybe she's going to tap into that and be, even if the place isn't the grass is greener. I think just she's figuring out who she is, right? That's part of the adulting theme of this season. So
Hmm.
if she's at least figuring that out, that's a really good step in the right direction.
Yeah,
So I think I'm glad about that.
yeah. You actually make a good point. I didn't make that connection. That music is her thing, and then that's also the thing of was it the Beat Club? I forget the name of the
I can't remember, and I tried
nonprofit.
to look it up too, and I couldn't find it. It was like beat something
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, so if she does in fact bring her musical talents from the mirror to her job, that could be a good space for her. I didn't think about that. I'm glad you brought that up. But we got what 4 episodes left,
Hmm. I'll be
and
sad when it's over. But can I just loop back around and say this one tiny thing that really doesn't have anything to do with anything other than I peeped it and I didn't like it.
Okay, what's up?
Which it was the taco shop.
Oh, Worldwide Tacos. Why didn't you like the taco
Yeah.
shop?
I don't know how it got that A rating up in there because it did not look like any kind of place I would be eating. And then also it was black people cooking tacos, and then also it took an hour to get said taco. None of that is flying for me.
Right.
And she was like, "Oh, you got to eat here." I mean, maybe it is. I'm not from LA, so maybe that is the spot. But being that I'm a little bit closer to the border in San Diego, I take my tacos pretty serious, and I would not be eating in that.
Right, yeah. And then it was like 2 hours when he ordered. So if we go by that, Issa was really cutting up. That was a 3 hour lunch minimum because she had to wait an hour for her taco. Then
No,
she had
but
to
she
wait 2
called
more.
ahead.
Oh,
She
she called
called
ahead.
ahead.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And I think she even said that too. Next time, call ahead for those tacos or something. But
Okay.
yeah, no, and I'm not microwaving no taco. All of that whole taco situation did not ring true to me.
Right, especially not no fish taco. She had a
Right?
salmon
Ew.
taco.
A barbecue salmon.
Yeah.
I know it has nothing to do with with this whole conversation, but it stood out to me and I didn't like it.
So, of course, you can leave us any questions or comments you have at ungentrified@kentwjohnson.com. You can check out this episode, our other recaps for past episodes, and other episodes that I do weekly at ungentrifiedpodcast.com. Tune in with us next Monday because that's when we drop our recaps unless life gets in the way. Thankfully, they dropped this episode early this week. So we had plenty of time over Labor Day weekend to get this out to you guys. But we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Bye.